Ahoy, 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 polloi, and welcome back to the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. I'm, as ever, your humble and very contrite host, Michael Lundy, and we're going to sit down with one of the outstanding musicians, outstanding songwriters, and, as we have learned, one of the top recording engineers and producers here in the area. And we got to know Patrick a few months back when he shared some of his work with the radio show that he's done down at PM Soundscape Studios. He's worked with Kitchen Teeth, Ron Flieger, and the Flieger Band, and so many more that we're going to learn about in this podcast. But Patrick Motto is the real deal, and it was great for me to go down to his studio at PM Soundscape Studios in Danville and sit down and chat with him for a little while and get to know him. He's a great guy, and you're going to love this episode. We're going to kick things off with Patrick Motto's work from PM Soundscape Studios, Full of Hatred, to kick things off on this episode of the one and only Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. Full of Hatred, kicking off this episode of the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. And we were sitting down with someone. I have done interviews with people that I have known for years, and I have done interviews with people that I had only met when they walked in the door to do the interview. I have met Pat probably a couple months ago when he shared some of his work with us at the radio station. And a great guy, a great musician, and what I have learned over the course of the last couple of months is a exquisitely talented audio engineer and performer and producer. So without further ado, I'm going to get to know this fellow a lot during this podcast, and I hope you do too. So without further ado, the legendary Patrick Motto on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. Patrick, thank you for hanging out with us here, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Legendary. That's a tough build-up. Let's see if I can live up to that.
Well, I think you are. I mean, you. And again, I think when was it? Like, it has to be less than 6 months ago when you started sharing your music with for the radio show. It has to be less than 6 months. So I haven't known you that long, but
no.
And I wasn't aware, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't aware of you until then. But now it's like, man, this guy's everywhere. So I'll hang my hat on the legendary part. So
all right, I'll take it.
Yeah. So
with a lot of humility.
Yeah, well, but you've got to have that. I mean, it's everybody says the cocky fighter pilot. No, I want fighter pilots to be cocky. I want guys that are producing rock and roll records and records, and I want them to be cocky because you're good at what you do.
Thank you.
Your stuff that we've played, your stuff we've played, Kitchen Teeth, and I've heard some of the rough mixes coming out from. Some of the stuff you've done with Kitchen Teeth and Ron Flick. You do good work. So, yeah, it's not cocky if you can back it up.
Well, true. Just you have to get that consistency model in place.
That's right.
And once you do, then it's then I guess you can go that way as much as you need to.
So we're going to get to where you are now, but let's set the Wayback Machine. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was born in Stroudsburg, way back, and I was raised there until... My family and I moved here. My parents and we moved here into this area in, Catawissa, Bloomsburg area around 1980.
Okay.
And it's funny because I have a memory of, I think the Village People actually were on New Year's Rockin' Eve in 1980 playing Are You Ready for the 80s as a song on TV. I do not know why I remember that because I was way young, but it's one of those scary things you won't forget. So I guess that's what it was. And I've been in the area ever since. Okay. So it's just been
So how old were you when you moved from Stroudsburg here?
8.
Yeah. So 8 years old. So you were 8 years old when you watched the Village People on New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll figure out, we can do the math.
No influence at all, except don't dress like that.
Yeah,
that's what I got out of it. That's for Ian. Ian the Kitchen
what?
Teeth,
I forgot when we did Kitchen Teeth's podcast. I forgot to get pictures of the shoe. He was wearing these fluorescent safety yellow shoes.
I know him. I know the shoes very well.
And God bless, he could pull it off.
You know what? I tell you what, I might bust on him, 'cause I consider him just a great friend, all those guys.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, while I pick on him and I do my thing, the guy pulls off every look every time.
Yeah.
And it's annoying at best because he can do it. And I'm just like, you know what, man, whatever.
It's like, I don't care what you wear as long as we can play music. But I mean, the safety, like I said, safety yellow shoes. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I couldn't do it, but I'm glad you can pull it off.
Oh yeah.
So 8 years old, you move here. Mom and dad, musical? Were they,
My dad was really where I got the initial influence about playing guitar.
Okay.
And he was never my dad never professed to be a big, guitar player or anything. He was into a lot of country stuff. So there's always music on at the house. Mm-hmm. But you'd hear everything from, Chet Atkins, Willie Nelson, Boxcar Willie. I mean, going way back. And then my mom, which I learned later, she actually sang when she was a teen. And she was actually doing, she went to lessons and everything like that. I believe up in New York, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow.
More of an opera type of approach. But I know. And then she would listen to stuff like Julio Iglesias and Kiss. I know, Kiss. So,
okay, Mom, that's pretty good. I mean, that's covering all bases.
Yeah, I never heard my dad listen to a rock song unless my mom was playing it and he was walking through the room. That's pretty much where that went.
Wow. Okay, so you got the country, for everything from Chet Atkins, the Boxcar Willie, to Julio Iglesias to Kiss. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a well-rounded musical background. And for you, anyhow.
And I feel like I'm not influenced by any of it.
Oh, really?
Not at all. Maybe Kiss. When I started playing guitar, a friend of mine turned me on to the idea of playing guitar. And I was, at that point, my dad did first. So when I was 8, I just learned some real basic stuff. And at 8 years old, I don't think I could keep the attention span that I needed. Yeah. But when 12, 13 happened, it was on. Yeah. And I started with bass. And I had some kind of Steinberger headless bass for my first guitar.
Was they were hot at the time.
Oh, yeah, like the Vito Bratta White Lion guitar, but a bass guitar. And so I was into it, but I was into like Kiss and Van Halen and... your typical what was big in the era.
So I'm going to kind of use 8 years old as my focal point. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Okay. Are they musical? Do they?
No.
No.
I'm the only one in the family that really took it and like ran with it at any point.
Okay.
I don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
Just strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a point where say I was getting towards my senior year in high school. So I'm 16, 17 years old. And I would get home from school, or a weekend would come, and I would lock myself in my room, and I would be playing guitar for 12 hours straight. Mm-hmm. Straight.
Yeah.
Religiously. Yeah. I mean, I never missed a beat. Yeah. And it was like, it never got old.
Yeah. Now, your first guitar, you said, was this the Steinberger bass? Or?
Well, I had an old acoustic that was... it's funny because it sits there behind the
You still
shelf.
have it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's in horrible shape. It's like Tempo or some kind of, whatever brand.
Yeah.
And just awful. But I just kept it because it's like that nice memory. I want to get something so I can hang it somewhere, but there's too many things. And I don't. I basically hang it from the ceiling and hope not to hit my head on it one day. Yeah. That's about as far as I could go with that. But yeah, afterward it was the headless bass.
Yeah.
And then from that point, I couldn't remember what it was, but it was some kind of Strat style 6-string guitar.
Okay.
And just from there, it was just all guitar. I never really looked back at the bass again.
Were you in in high school, junior high school? Were you in bands or garage bands or anything like that?
No, I didn't actually get into a band until I was out of high school.
Oh wow!
I'll tell you where I think the heaviest dive, besides the guitar playing, my senior year was my senior year. I don't know how this happened, but my schedule, I didn't need a lot of credits to graduate my senior year. Mm-hmm. So you always had to have X amount of classes, and you had maybe say 5 study halls a week. Right. Mine was crazy. I had 13 study halls in a week. Well, in a 7-day period, they had a 7-day schedule. Yeah. I had 13. And thank you, Southern Columbia. And it was great because I would go down, I'd have a music theory course. Mm-hmm. So I'd have that, I think I had it a couple times a week. Yeah. So what would happen on those days is I'd have music theory, then lunch was scheduled. Well, I just went and grabbed something to eat and went back to the music room. And they had a lab there, so with a Korg M1, which at that point was top of the line sequencer and everything built in. Sure. And I would start playing piano. Mm-hmm. And I started learning some keyboard on my own, and incredibly talented music director there, a guy named Chris Straka in those days. So I would just go there, and then after lunch, I had a study hall. Well, guess where I went? I was back in the music room. Everything was fine with that. Yeah. So I got to spend like an hour to 2 hours a day just being in a music room, hanging out and listening to stuff and coming up with things and whatever. Yeah. Never knowing if it was serious or not, but wow. That was a great breakthrough for me in school, and I never played like in jazz band or anything like that. Wow. And an old friend of mine showed me a drum beat, and I didn't know how to play drums. I was like 17 at that point. Mm-hmm. And he showed me, of all songs, Unskinny Bop by Poison, because it had some toms and it was a basic, but it had some tom work in it. He showed me it, and in 10 minutes, I had it down. And I never played a drum set before. And I was like, I kind of get the idea of this. Because if you listen to drums, for example, to me, mm-hmm. I can play drums now. But it was a matter of you hear it, and you've got to know what you're hearing first before you can even visualize your body doing it. Right. And you have to be lucky with some kind of natural rhythm. And maybe I'm lucky enough to have that to the extent I can get through it. Yeah. So that's kind of...
Now, did you realize that... When you start out playing bass, that the bass and the drums have to be locked together? I mean, no. Did you get that?
No, I had no clue.
Yeah, no.
I had no clue at all.
So I asked that because when you picked up the drums and it came like that, it's like, oh well, he played bass, so he connected the two. I don't know.
No, the bass was pretty short lived because I think I played that for maybe 6 months. No, I still had it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I switched over to the guitar, and I can't say there was a reason behind why.
Yeah.
It's not like I was playing something. I was like, I want to do something more difficult than something I'm not good at right now, and that's where the whole idea came from.
Oh, funny. So it sounds like you had a little bit of what's the word? You're a paper trained musician with theory in that in high school. Mm-hmm. So did you carry that on into college? I mean, where did you?
No. Tell you the truth, like I did have some guitar lessons when I was in my teen years, like anywhere from 13 to 16, mm-hmm. At a place in Catawissa called Butch Lynn School of Music. Now he's passed years ago now, but it really gave me a good foundation of the boring stuff.
Yeah.
Being able to sight read and things like that, which I have not carried with me at all, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I remember that starting with him, it was the basics kind of thing, and they had a guitar recital every year. And 2 years into it, the only time I played at the recital, I played When the Children Cry by White Lion. So in 2 years, I really had gone well. And I think I nailed it. Yeah. I think. The memory says that I did, but it was probably like a slaughterhouse of wrong notes. But no, it was actually pretty good. My dad was really proud. So, but yeah, I didn't go to college. I was close at one point. I was close to going into the Navy at one point.
Oh.
None of those things panned out. My brother at the time had a construction company, and I had done that kind of work with my dad for a long time. So I went into that for, probably like a good 10 years, I would guess.
Good, honest work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, and during that time, you kept up with the guitar. Were you playing in bands at that point? Then?
Oh, yes. I was in, the first band I was in is probably going back to maybe 2 years after I graduated.
Okay.
And of course, it was a cover band. The ideas of originals at that point kind of eluded us, I would say.
So we're talking mid-'80s right now? Mid to late 80s? Or?
90s, in the 90s.
Okay, that's right, because you were 8 years old. Okay, all right, so early 90s.
Probably 92 or 93 is in my first band.
Okay.
And we were okay for what a band was, as far as like covers and things like that go, you know what I mean? Now, the thing is that, and this is literally how that band started, and then how the next band I got into where we actually thought about original ideas a couple years later, it was 4 guys that got in a room that all knew how to play instruments, at least, somewhat proficiently, right? So we had a drummer, a bass player, guitarist, another guitarist, which would have been me. And the question comes up, well, who's going to sing? And somebody looked at me and said, well, you are. There was never a thought that this was going to happen at all.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay. And that's literally how I got started.
Oh, funny.
And I probably slaughtered so many things and definitely did things that I shouldn't have been doing at the time, where you don't know what your limit is. So you don't know where your ego should keep you in check and where it shouldn't. You learn that over time.
Sure. Yeah. So this would you consider this like a garage band, or were you guys out like playing and?
At that point, you can't take it like that band fell apart.
Okay.
For actually a medical reason that happened to one of the members.
Okay.
He read into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like at that point he was a catalyst of it. You had 4 guys that were really good friends and really tight.
Yeah.
And medically he just fell apart.
Oh, man.
And there was nothing that we could really do. I mean, we're still friends to this day and everything has, subsided for that. But it just didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. So how long was this little project together then?
About a year and a half, I would say.
Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, that's your first experience with a band, like a group. That's good enough to get the feel for being in a band. I mean, so you guys, you never played out or anything. You never,
that band never played
did.
out. Now the first one did. The very first one. Yeah.
Okay.
That band played out at some high school. I think it was Shamokin High School.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how, why, who. I think our drummer, a guy named Joe Getz, amazing drummer. Mm-hmm. I think he was still in school. So I was probably like 19 at that point.
Oh, wow.
Now, and I could be getting things a little confused time-wise, because I was also in a band with a guy named Kent Reinford, a real good friend of mine, close like a brother to me, still lives in Bloomsburg area. We were in a band as well, but I can't put it in order of what one came first. I want to say that came after the fact. But we had played, it was funny because FYE, the record store up at Columbia Mall in those days, used to have bands.
Oh,
So
really?
we actually
Oh,
went in
wow.
there, and they didn't have hard rock bands, and we were.
Yeah.
So it was weird because the record store got slammed. I mean, packed.
Oh, cool.
And you couldn't talk to people. You know, they're trying to talk. At the end of it, a friend of mine threw up a rubber chicken on stage. It was just crazy in
Oh,
FYE.
fun. Yeah.
But that was a fun time for sure.
Oh, fun.
So those are like the first gigs, shows that I remember playing. But
Wow.
yeah.
And so you're like 19 at the time. So it's
Yeah, at that
after high
point,
school.
19 to 20, you know.
And you said they were cover bands.
Yes.
Had you started writing songs?
Actually, the first time I really took writing songs, we did have a couple of songs with the band that I was in with Ken.
Okay.
And we had actually done another show there was a multi-band show at Phillips Emporium of all places.
Oh, wow.
But it was years ago.
Yeah.
And at this point, they had the stage was not where it is now.
Okay.
It was built in differently. It's in the same room, but it was actually up in the corner. And that place it was busy.
Oh, wow.
That place was busy, but you had some really, really good, talented bands coming in the area.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, there were times like with a band like that where when you get put in a position to sing when you don't really want to, which in those days I didn't, there's something that gets in your head because you have to work your rear end off with it. And then when it gets to a point where somebody else in the band is like, well, I want to sing more. And you kind of take it to heart. And when you're younger, you don't know any better that this is a brotherhood.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things I always look back and regret. Like, man, I should have done that. We could have been like Kiss without makeup.
Yeah.
But I didn't look at that. And, it fell apart eventually because of just young guys, egos, super young guys.
Sure.
I mean, if you're the oldest member at 21 at that point, maybe.
Oh, wow. Oh,
then
wow.
you already are looking at a whole,
Yeah.
situation where you just have a lot to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are some bands, and the one that I think of is like that they start out as young teenagers, and they keep it going for years. How do they do it? Because you're right, when you're 16, 17, 18, your ego and your mind is not ready to work in that kind of a dynamic without a bunch of ego shit going on.
Yeah, I think so too. And I wonder sometimes if it's just a matter of some of these bands that you're seeing in that moment, some of them might have known each other in high school. You know what I mean? Like lifelong friends, or at least, interaction, or have that musical draw to them.
Yeah.
And while everybody has that, I don't remember going to school with anybody I ended up being in a band with out of these situations.
Really?
They were all from different areas, whether it be Bloomsburg or Berwick or Danville or whatever. Yeah. It was never, and if I'm forgetting anybody, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anybody that I went to school with that I actually was in a band with for any length of time where it went even to a show.
Yeah.
To that length.
Wow. So, but when you were in these early bands, when you're not, had you begun to write songs at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But you weren't performing them out.
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
Yeah,
Oh,
a
sweet.
few times. Even if we had maybe 2-3 songs. And looking back at them, I can actually remember some of the songs. It's weird to say that.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole now. Because maybe subject matter. I mean, again, outside of ego, you have kids that are into like hard rock stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And as we know, not all hard rock is calming on the lyrical side of things. And when you're younger, you're just not writing about anything good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like there was a song called Suicide.
Oh, yeah.
It would literally would say it, and it was, yeah.
I got you. Yeah.
But in those days, for us, what we did, it was good for us with our skill level. And I want to say Kent came up with a riff, and they had good ideas with it. He was a great guitar player even then.
Sure.
So it was really one of those things that it just formed, and we did what we could with it. I can kind of remember the guitar riffs in my head and everything. So at least that's to say that he did a good job going back many years ago, for sure.
So you're 19, early adulthood. You're in these bands. Just kind of take us through that time, playing in bands and that, and the one that you were in for a year and a half that kind of had to fall apart a little bit. I guess take us from there to where you want to go at this point.
All right. Well, yeah. I'll tell you honestly, it was strange because I ended up getting, in those days you had the digital multi-track recorder start to come out.
Yeah.
And so, we talked earlier about Zoom. That company makes just awesome stuff. And a shameless plug. I wonder if they'll pay me one day for that. And I had I think it was called an 802B. CD player built in, 8-track. You learn how to bounce tracks really quick, so you have more to work with.
Yeah.
But what struck me as awesome with them is their guitar tones were monstrous on their stuff. So I had one of those, that I got from a friend of mine, actually. And then I graduated to like a BR8. Actually, BR8 was the first one I ever had. So Boss had a BR8, and you remember the 2.5 zip discs?
Oh, yeah.
It had those. So that would record. You had to, every zip disc was one song. So you were constantly buying these zip discs. And you better take care of them or you just lost the whole song.
Yeah.
And I ended up graduating to like a BR 1180 CD. And you just kept going with that, you know. So
Right.
I was actually starting to get in, and I never knew this at the time. I was really getting into the aspect of creating my own stuff, like really writing stuff. And looking back, I didn't realize that I actually was putting things together that maybe I might like to do this one day as actually more of a serious.
So you
like,
kind of
releasing
you
things.
kind of fell into the whole production.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So I mean, was it? So you started out with the Zoom recorder. Why did you pick that up? I mean, why did you start doing that?
I think the idea came up where, having a project together, and it was just like, hey, maybe we should think about putting a couple songs together.
Okay.
Just like maybe
So you're
we're
in a
gonna jam
band
it
at the
in
time.
room. Yeah.
You were in a band at the time.
At that point, yes.
Yeah. And it was just like necessity is the mother of creation or invention.
Yeah.
You guys just wanted to record some like original stuff.
Well, it goes a little further at one
Okay.
point. So there was actually a hiatus where I wasn't in a band for probably a good 9 years.
Oh, wow.
I think because the last time it fell apart, and then if you have, even when you're young, band doesn't work out. Band doesn't work out for whatever reason, even not a bad reason.
Yeah.
Band falls apart, and you see that a lot of times, I mean, anybody listening to this, chances are you've been in a band and it's fell apart. I mean, just chances are.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're in one now that just stays together and everything's good. But I think I just got a bad taste in my mouth from it in general. And of course, it's not like it's always easy to find people. I mean, this is just a fact.
Oh, yeah.
To find the people that click, that want to make the music. And not everybody's open to the idea of, well, say I'm a rock guy. Well, say I like pop. Say I like country. You're probably not getting them in the room and coming up with anything where everybody's happy with the result.
Right.
And when you do, it's kind of magic.
Yeah.
People need to embrace that kind of idea.
And it's too bad because you touched on something. It's like, you're so locked into your wheelhouse. So, for example, I'm a country guy and I come in and play with you. It's like, oh, man, I can't play this stuff. Add some country stuff to it. I mean, you can blend that stuff in if you're just open enough to do it. And it's finding the right people
Yes.
to do that.
To have the right mentality
Yeah.
and the right
Yeah.
heart. And the funny thing is, like, I've been known, like, the first thing you mentioned to me because you'd heard some of my stuff was like me being the metal guy. And at first I was like, man, no. Like my head said no, right?
Yeah.
But at every time I write something, every single time, it comes into my head. I grab my phone. I got the voice recorder on it because I'm probably driving or doing something. And every time, man, it starts
sure.
that way because I
Right.
can't get the guitar out of my head.
Right.
But now it's really developed past that because I listen to a lot of all over the place. I actually like modern country. When I listen back to some of the stuff, like I like Jim Reeves, and I'm talking that's probably 30s and 40s country, maybe 40s or 50s.
40s and 50s,
And I
Yeah.
like to hear stuff like that, especially like around Christmas time. It reminds me of just like a
heck
happy
yeah.
time around the kids, and
Yeah.
But yeah, what ended up developing then was we started a band. I got back into it probably around 2000 or so, and it was strange because it was a matter of just meeting somebody through where I worked, and we happened to get along really well. And it turns out he played bass. So as it turns out, his brother played drums. Wow! And then somehow we got a hold of a guy named Matt who I just saw at one of my shows on Sunday. It was really cool to see him. But he joins as a guitar player. And then we found a keyboard player, a new drummer, because the brothers were arguing about stuff.
Yeah.
And we ended up finding these guys from Strasbourg that were just like amazing drummer and keyboard player. Like stupid how good they were.
Yeah.
And we formed a band at that point called One Man Religion. So we just went with OMR, had a cool logo, but we were serious about writing.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we probably had a good 4 or 5 songs together. And I'll never forget it because our first show, and I went nowhere, so keep that in mind. But our first show, I was probably like 27, 28 at that point. And our keyboardist, Dave Courier, he was with a band called Solution AD, going way back, Poconos bass band, and they had actually got signed. But Dave was very strange. And I say this with all the heart that I can possibly say it with. One of his big influences was John Paul Jones.
Sure.
Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
huge. But also the eccentricness of that kind of stage presence and Peter Gabriel stage presence going way back in the day. Because Peter Gabriel came out dressed very strange in his Genesis days. So we're doing a show, and this is later, but we'd be like, hey, listen, man, we're trying to put an image together here. So we think you need to come out, just do the black thing, just all a dark black outfit, and let's kind of keep it there.
Yeah.
And the first half of the show goes great. The second half of the show, he disappears during a break, and nobody's thinking anything of it. And he comes out of the bathroom, and he's got a half shirt with sequins all over it, and he's got gold glitter eyeshadow. And we're like, well, that just went to hell in a handbasket. So the image thing was gone.
Yeah.
But he was so talented, you didn't care. And he was such a good dude.
Yeah.
You still got to be yourself. So we respected it.
Yeah.
But man.
Oh, funny.
Like Pitch Perfect, too.
Yeah.
The guy you'd sit there and be like, for no reason, you already heard him play stuff that was just like amazing in the studio. And we're like, we got to hire him.
Yeah.
And we'd be like, hey, play the theme to like Cheers. And then somebody would throw something stupid out and he'd be like, all right, and he'd think about it. And he didn't find the note. He knew it from the first time he hit a key. And we're just like, this is dumb.
Wow.
So that was kind of people you get lucky enough to find.
Yeah.
That band, our first show was at Bruce Brothers and Piston in 2001 or 2. And we opened for Break and Bend the night they got signed up at Bruce Brothers in front of like 7 record companies. And God bless them, because they've gone on to do amazing things. Yeah. And I probably didn't know what the hell I was doing still at that point. And so we didn't, but they did.
Yeah.
So that was cool that we at least got to do that. But, I was younger still learning yourself, nervous. And I'm sure, and I came out, my head was shaved. I had a pitchfork goatee that went down past my nipples. And, and I had a black cross painted on my face. And I'm sure there was an image thing involved too that didn't go well.
Well, I mean, you have that, and then you have the gold or silver eye glitter. I mean, you guys.
Well, he wasn't actually. He was in that band. Yeah, sure enough.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot going on. Yeah, I
cool.
don't blame myself as much anymore.
So now, the 9 years that you said you were kind of in a hiatus, were you playing out by yourself? I mean,
No.
were you? So you did nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
I just played the guitar once in a while.
Yeah.
That was it.
Interesting. Had you during that time were you working on the production side, or did that come afterwards?
Well, there was some of that. There was definitely some of that. Like with the band that I talked about there, the OMR band, opening for those guys, we never had a full album. Like we went and recorded tracks, and we went over and had it mastered in a studio in Strasbourg. But we never did anything where it's like, oh, we have even an EP. We probably got 4 or 5 songs ready, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
and back then you couldn't put them on Spotify or YouTube or anything.
No.
So
not at all.
Yeah.
So, you were hoping to shop around a radio stations and record companies. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what you had.
Yeah.
And that was going nowhere. Because if you didn't know the production inside and out, like some of these other places did, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Right.
And you have to know what you're doing. There's really a whole plateau that happens that you keep climbing, then the plateau. But always find that next plateau and keep going with it. So, that only went so far in those days. But I think what happened was I started really getting back into the production aspect of things past that band. And by maybe 2005 or 6, it really started to sink in, even with the digital portable studios, that you could do better. Just always do more. Just always learn something.
Yeah.
And you don't translate that you're learning that stuff from that kind of setup to when you get into like the modern day stuff, like what I have with like the Pro Tools and Studio One.
Right.
You don't understand that you're actually learning something in those days that translates to this at all.
Okay.
To me, it doesn't translate in my head that taught me anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not a bit.
I mean, is it? I mean, is it because it just? I mean, I'm trying to form the question here. I mean, you started out with the basic kind of recording.
Yeah.
I'll have to edit this big blank part out because I know what I want to say, but I can't form. Because you were learning as you went, and you built on what you were learning. I mean, did you teach yourself this? I mean, you did.
Yes.
There's no books or anything. You taught yourself to do this stuff.
There was no YouTube at that point where you could get anything out.
So I can see why you would look back and say, I didn't, because you're teaching yourself how to do this, you're building on what you learn and applying it to the next thing.
Yeah.
You probably don't look back and say, "Oh yeah, I'm applying that to this." I get where you're going, but it's a very complex concept to kind of wrap your head around.
Well,
But I see where you're getting at.
I think what it is if you think about it, the aspect of the studio now, right? When you're dialing somebody in for live sound, just to give you an example,
Okay.
they're going to set the levels and they pretty much have you dialed in. There's going to be some adjustments they have to make depending on what happens in a song,
Yeah.
or feedback or something on the fly. But once you have those levels set, you should have somebody dialed in for the most part. And now I'm not talking about the big, touring professional bands where they have the sound bite going here and automation built into everything.
Right.
But in the studio, it's a different world, man, because you're not just setting it for this. Now you're adding this and then bringing this track in where it might not happen live. And now you're muting this and a guitar solo comes in. So you're taking the decibels of a rhythm guitar and you're backing it down like a decibel behind it. Mm-hmm. So it's not noticeable,
Yeah.
but it gives it that breathing room.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game, but the foundation's there. But you don't think, oh, I'm going to touch the faders again because that song's done and now I'm going to burn it to a CD.
Yeah.
That's where you're at with the digital world.
When did you really start getting into it? At what point did you I enjoy doing this. I am really into it, and knew that this is what you wanted to do, as far as the production side of this is.
2 years ago.
Oh, that soon?
2 years ago, tops, yeah.
Because you had said that you were 2005 is when you were kind of got back into it. So between 2005 and 2022, 2 years ago, you were just kind of teaching yourself how to do this? Were you recording for anybody else or just your own stuff? Or?
Just my own stuff. And in 2000, between 9 and 10, mm-hmm. It's funny because my wife, who I had met her at that point, Lori, I had met her at that point in 2009. Mm-hmm. And we were both like into music and things like that, like more like probably the heavier kind of side, if you want to say like Metallica, that kind of, not death metal, but we actually wrote an album together. Now, she didn't perform or sing. She did have a vocal line on the one song, but we actually put some stuff together on one of the portable studios, and it went out. We actually had a CD, not outside of our own.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think there's probably one sitting around somewhere. It'd be funny to hear it now, because there were some good ideas. And she would help me with like writing lyrics and stuff like that and putting things together. And it was really cool. So that was like the first time I could say that there was an album that I did a complete album with anybody was actually with her.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's got this amazing ear.
Yeah.
She hears something, I play something for her, and she'll tell me everything that I need to hear. Even if you don't want to hear some things.
That's good.
She's honest in a way that's like perfect.
Yeah.
But she just hears the little stuff that she doesn't realize she'd be a good producer. Like not audio engineer, not doing the faders,
right.
But like to listen and to hear and be like, oh no, this should be, I'm looking for this.
Yeah.
She just gets that. And it's strange how much she gets it.
Does she ever come down and kind of do that for you? Or
sometimes I'm like, hey, I need to borrow you. I just need you to, listen to this song and tell me what you think.
Oh, wow.
And so on the occasion I get, wow, have you released one like this version, anything? No, not yet. It's really good.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's like, hey, well, this is, but, she keeps me away from the monotonous and the mundane, so to speak.
Well, you do need that to bounce off, because you would self-doubt yourself into not doing it, or you're like, oh, that sounds good, but you're not objective with your own stuff sometimes. I don't know. I know I'm not, and God bless the person that maybe is.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to have somebody like that has a good ear. So, lucky you.
Exactly.
So interesting. So really 2 years ago is when you, and I want to use the term got serious about this, but you can nuance that term. But so 2 years ago is when you really started.
Well, I should actually back that up and say 5 years ago, because in 2019, I did a full album. No, this is 10 years after what
and this
I'm
is
talking
your
about.
stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Called Conviction. Now, I've taken it down. It is not available anywhere. Because when I listen back to it, I'm not proud of it, because I've learned too much. And I'm like, nobody needs to hear that. If I want them to hear what I do now, nobody needs to hear that garbage. So I took it down. I still have the files.
Yeah.
So I have everything loaded into Pro Tools in individual sessions, because I'd love to redo the album. I'm not saying I'm not proud of the songs.
Right.
But what I've learned in the studio in 5 years, it's night and day. So it's like, that doesn't need to be out there. Like, you don't it's like way early demo stuff. And some people tell me, when you put that back out? When I'm done. It's a selfish thing.
So you're like George Lucas, man. You go back and you're like tinkering with the original Star Wars. You're going to go back and tinker with this stuff.
Yeah, because there's more that I understand about production now that can bring it more to life. Just things I didn't know.
Sure.
Even if it's a matter of how I process the drums now.
Yeah.
It brings it more to the front with, buses and things like that.
Sure.
I think it's more along the lines of that. And maybe getting better vocal takes or, I'm going through an album that was like 10 or 12 songs.
Yeah.
So like anything from starting out with a song called Four Walls, which is a really cool driving kind of, riff, to a Chili Peppers-ish sounding song called Crotch, which is hilarious. Yeah. There's a story behind it I won't go into. Yeah. It's not really dirty. Okay. But it's very funny. It's very funny and personal to Lori and I. Okay. Because it tells a story of somebody we know and it goes through a whole thing. But it's funny. And it will be back out in some variety, I'm sure. Yeah. With a higher quality release. So I think at that point though, I met a guy named Soren Byler years ago in Danville, a good friend of mine. I don't get to see him very often now, but he was a really good engineer, really good. He went to Full Sail University, very complimentary on a lot of the stuff that I did. Yeah. Got to give him that shout out. His claim to fame was once at a birthday party for the CEO of Lowe's, which was an older gentleman in those days. I don't remember who he was. He got to hand a microphone to Christina Aguilera as she walked in the room, sang happy birthday to the guy, handed the microphone back to him, and left.
Well, there you go.
That's what she was there for. He's like, that's my claim to fame. That's really cool. I'm like, that's cool,
Oh, that's funny.
It's like,
but that's good for him. I'm looking for my notebook. There we go. So you had mentioned he went to Full Sail, but you're self-taught on this.
Yes.
Because in this area, I don't think there's any place you can go to learn this.
No, not really. There are some colleges that have audio, to some degree. Yeah. But to say to the depth that you need to go into for certain things, yeah. You're. And again, I'm not as educated on it as I should be when it comes to the idea of what's available out there where, unless you're taking online classes. And I think that's kind of mutes the point. Yeah. It's not like you're in front of a big console and all of a sudden everything's different.
Right. You're fine. And I just derailed my train of thought. Oh, so you were just recording you weren't bringing people to, well, I'll just call it your studio. You weren't bringing people into recording. You're just learning this by recording your own stuff then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been lucky enough to be a moderately skilled drummer. Yeah. I can get through a show. Mm-hmm. And guitar and bass is second nature. Yeah. I know my wheelhouse as far as my vocals and, hey, you can't hit 2 octaves above a higher C, but you can do this, so become good at what you do. Yeah. And then you just learn certain tricks of the trade. So I'm good enough to put my own music together and put it out there and be proud of what I've done now. Because in 2019 I did that album, again, which I have to redo. Yeah. In 2021 I did an EP called Reflection Part 1. I like that EP a lot. It's still out there. And 5 songs. And listening back to them sometimes I'm like, man, I could redo some of that. You always go back to I can do better. Yeah. But sometimes you have to let it lie. Yeah. And then I released in July of this year, I released Reflection Part 2. Okay. Which I'm not proud of at all. I'm going to say it right out. Oh my gosh. It's a complete departure of the style of music, which I'm fine with. But remember I said about those plateaus you get to when you're doing the studio stuff? Mm-hmm. And there was this hellacious climb and all of a sudden plateau that I hit between from when I was done with that till I was moving on to the next stuff and I knew what I was hearing on the new album. Yeah. And I was like, man, I shouldn't even put this out. It literally happened. And I was like, well, I said I would, so done. And I uploaded it that day, put it out for 2 weeks out and was like, screw it, it's out. And that's literally where it happened. Yeah. So, but now I'm really happy with the new album. Really, really happy with that.
I want to talk about that in a minute. So when you started doing the production stuff until now, had you been no band? I haven't heard any mention well, I was in this band and we came down. No bands or anything. You were just
I do actually want to give a shout out. Because
okay, good.
I was and it ended badly for me, and I understand why now, but I didn't at the time. So when I had put out Reflection Part 1, it was in 2021. Okay. Shortly after that, somebody reached out to me and said, hey, there's this band that's looking for a singer, and I think you'd be a good fit. And I didn't think anything of it, and I checked them out. Now, the band's called Uppercut. They still play in the area.
Yeah.
Good bunch of guys, man. Yep. Shout out to them, UPPER space CUTT.
Yes.
So they play a lot in the area. To me, it's very, very classic rock oriented. Mm-hmm. But they always did adjustments to like whoever their vocalist was. So I had checked out some videos of them, and there was there was a guy who's singing for him again now, a guy named Kevin Collins used to sing with Hybrid Ice. And I hear what they're doing. They're doing like 80s stuff. And this guy's got a range on him, man. And I'm just like, why would I be a good fit? How is anybody thinking? I questioned why I got messages in the first place.
Yeah.
What's going on the other side of things is they're checking out my stuff. And they're like, hey, this guy has like an album out. It sounds really good. You know, you might want to reach out to him. So when we initially talked, they're like, we actually build what we do around the singer. I was never in a band that did that. I know it sounds strange, but I was always, and maybe it's me. Maybe it was just the idea of you get together with guys that you know or whatever, you're on the same kind of thing and you expect you're going to be able to do Disturbed and you're going to play Shinedown. No, you're not, but you're going to try.
Right.
And that kind of thing. But these guys did it differently.
Interesting.
So with them, I actually ended up writing and recording an EP as well, like a 5-song EP. And we played a couple of those songs.
And you recorded that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and we were getting to the verge of starting to make a second EP as well. But, and I'll be honest, like I got a text basically in January of this year, like, hey, hope everything's going well. We know you're doing a lot of stuff, and we just decided it's better if we do both of us do our own thing.
Yeah.
I was upset for quite a while. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, you have to look at it realistically. I'm there showing up to shows or practice, practice, I didn't go to practices, but shows, because we just didn't have a lot of time. And if something didn't go right, I'm getting pissed because I'm putting all this effort in, But everybody has lives they're living too.
Right.
And I'm not always, at that time, I wasn't always so understanding the way I should have been. But when you're doing this for a living, and I wasn't really doing the studio thing so much, just starting it out, you do have to worry about what I have to play to make money.
Right.
That's just all there is to it. Yeah. And that's kind of like a situation I fell into a few years ago. So I started getting booked for a lot of solo acoustic shows. Okay. So I was reaching out to book the band. And they know this, and we're all on the same page with it, but places were not getting back to me. And maybe it's because you got to pay so much more for a band, because we came in there with full production, licensed sound, like two guys doing it. So we had like full LEDs and all kinds of craziness going on, and you name it. It was very well done. Their shows are awesome to go see. In all seriousness, they're worth it. Right. But we're putting out, like $300 a show for production. Mm-hmm. Well, we're not going to play for $300.
Right.
We're not going to play for $400 really. So you do have that. If you want to put a good quality product out, you run into expenses.
Right.
So that was kind of how things went.
Yeah.
They parted ways with me, and Kevin rejoined the band. They have a keyboard player now too. I don't remember his name, but and I guarantee you, because of what their sound guy Drew does, and Dave helps with sound too, but he plays bass. The drummer Craig, Ralph, their guitar player, Mook, the guitar player, they all can sing.
Yeah.
So it's like you always have that big mix of stuff going around, And at this point, like I said, I wish nothing but the best for them, but I was mad at the time. But when I look back at it now,
you're human.
When I look back at it now, though, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because it did have to happen that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm playing all these shows, and they're like, listen, you make more money playing on your own. We get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and at first I'm just like, well, I put all this effort, because you have that backlash in your own mind. But when I look at it, like, man, yeah, they were absolutely right.
Yeah.
It was the right move for everybody involved. So, but yeah, I haven't been in a band since that. And like I said, I think it was January of this year.
Oh, wow.
That happened.
Yeah.
And the ideas come up about getting into one again, just with some conversations here and there. Mm. But one thing Lori and I talked about is like, I play the solo acoustic shows. Like I enjoy the shows and everything, but every weekend comes, you know where I'm at, every weekend. And I'm going to guess it's very, very close. I know this for a fact, to 300 shows in the last 2 years.
Sure.
That's a lot. And when it's always every weekend, I want to have some time with my family.
Exactly.
I miss spending time with my wife. We have the sectional in our room where it's like a movie theater room, the dog sitting on the couches, and just everybody hanging out and having that time.
Yeah.
We don't get enough of that. But I didn't realize when I started getting into the production aspect of the digital studios that even though I don't think a lot of carried over, it built a foundation. They're like, wow, I really like doing this. And then when the quality started coming together, I'm like, I don't have to just do this for myself. Then you really started thinking and the wheels start turning.
When did you hit that point?
October of last year,
Last year.
23.
Okay.
That's when it really, I mean, the Uppercut EP, I was super happy with it. It sounded really good, all of it. And now I look at it, I'm like, wow. I could have jumped on that about a year and a half beforehand, you know?
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at doing this, sometimes you just got to dive in and do it. Because you will get the results you want, but you got to do a lot of work for a lot of people and a lot of mixes, and you have to do a lot of your own stuff. You know,
Sure.
It's the hours that go into it is maddening, like 70 hours a week easily,
Yeah.
plus shows.
So October 2023 is like, okay, I'm going to do this. So is that when now, did you have the studio built by then, or was like, okay, I've got to build the studio now?
I had it. I had.
Okay,
I
so you had
most
this
of the
pretty
stuff.
much. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The kit came later,
Yeah.
but not much later. But yeah, that was pretty much. I had most of the stuff, and I just put it out there that I was going to do it. And it's funny. A friend of mine actually got a hold of me in October of that year, shortly afterward, and he's like, "Hey, you know, I've been looking to put some stuff together. I got 7 or 8 songs, and I think it'd be really cool to work together." So I'm like, "All right." And then I was on a website also called SoundBetter.com, which is pretty much all for engineers and people looking for that kind of work. And somebody reached out to me, a guy named Jose Ortiz, a buddy of mine now down in Florida. And he messaged me and said, "Hey, I want to work with you." And I'm thinking, okay, it was kind of an out of nowhere thing. And so we did a song together, did a whole album together, 10 songs, 5 English, 5 Spanish. I think he's put out 2 songs. And it's been done for months because by his own words, he's not a good singer. And he found a guy that sings now. So we're actually working on their new album with their new singer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's just been weird how it's all fallen together in a way.
So October 2023, you know, okay, I'm going to get serious about this. And in the next segment, we're going to talk about where you're at with the studio right now. So we're going to play a song called "Spirits," which is one of your songs. Was that an early recording? Was that something you did kind of midpoint, or is that something that's recent now that you've kind of used all the tricks that you've learned over the years?
Well, I'll tell you, Spirits is definitely newer.
Okay.
It's funny because the album, and I should plug that because, I'm here talking about music.
Well, that's why we were talking
The
about
new album is called Before There Were Storms.
Okay.
And it's available on every platform out there. That from the initial, I'm going to write this album, to I laid down the first track till it was released, 8 months, 10 songs.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's 10 more sitting there waiting for the next album. Another, I think 30 or 40 started in Pro Tools right now. And last night I completed one brand new from scratch and started 2 other ones. So there's a lot of things going on. But yeah, that everything on this new album was done in the last 8 months.
Wow. Wow. So "Spirits" is one of those songs then.
Yes.
Okay. Kind of tee it up a little bit. Where'd it come from? What's it about? Do you start with a riff? Do you start with words? Or where's your start?
Well, I'll tell you, man, this is one of those things where it didn't happen with the phone idea, like the whole put the memo in.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. I started getting into the idea of some keyboards and synthesizers and adding some flavor into some of the stuff I was doing with the rock. And I found this note on one of my settings on one of my synths. And I was like, oh, I like that. It's like the movie trailer thing. So I did 4 of them. And then I created this piano part. And it was really a dense reverbed type of part, very atmospheric. And I started playing it, and right away in my head, I went, "You can blame it on the rain as long as you want to." Immediately. And I was like, that's a great opening line. And then the song formed.
Wow.
Nothing usually works that way at all.
Yeah.
That was exactly how it came about. It's very atmospheric, very, it seems like a lot of the stuff that I write about turns into like a woe is me kind of sorrow-ish thing. And I'm definitely not that way in my heart.
I was going to say, you don't strike me as being that guy.
But we all have gone through something in life, right?
Yeah.
It's nice that you can actually draw from emotions that you can remember and not have to live that life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are times there's self-doubt. I mean, with everybody, right? We're musicians. We're artists. There's times I sit here and I think, man, I should have done this better.
Yeah.
Or I should have done this, or man, I'm never going to get there. I'm never going to, you always have that self-doubt. And I think it's that self-verbal deprecating thing that can lead you to just eventually you get better.
Yeah.
A lot of praying. A lot of praying, man.
Well, I think a lot of the self-doubt, not self-deprecation, because I think people that self-deprecate, they know they're good. They're just, but the self-doubt in that, as long as you're balancing it with your reasonable expectations of what you can do. I mean, there are some people that will kill themselves with self-doubt, and
Yes.
and they won't even start from the mark. I mean, they won't even start from the starting blocks to go because, oh, what if I trip? What if I what if somebody doesn't like it? Well,
Yeah.
guess what? Not everybody's going to like it.
There was a song I released that it was on Reflection Part 2 that came out in the summer.
Yeah.
Called I'm Okay. And I was thinking about one of my best friends, a guy named Dan Tappy. And he was, every time you see the guy, he's always uplifted and always high in spirits. You know what I mean? But anything going on in his life, no matter how difficult, he's always like, how you doing, man? I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Always. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're lying through your teeth. But he's got that. That's just how he's going to be.
Yeah.
And I wrote a song called I'm Okay about that, where it's like, I'm all right, I'm okay. At least I'll say that I am anyway.
Right.
And it really,
Wow.
but it was really something to bring more of an awareness to like mental health for people.
Mm-hmm.
Because while he's got that backbone to just get through,
Yeah.
he's not okay. And there's so many people that aren't. And that's one of those, a song that I really think that people need to really look at stuff like that and take your mental health as serious as you take everything else too.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't get like me.
Don't get like. All right. So Spirits recorded right here. Plug your studio name right now.
Sure. It's PM Soundscape Studios.
PM standing for Patrick Motto.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And the website is pmsoundscapestudios.com.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of artist samples and things like that on it. Just a couple of pictures here and there, and just what my mission is, just to try to, if somebody has an idea of what they want to hear in their head when they write a song, I want it to exceed what they heard in their head when they first started.
Yeah.
So that's what I hope for.
We will link. We'll link the studio website to the podcast paragraph when it's released. So this is Spirits recorded right here at PM Soundscape Studios. Patrick Motto, right here on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast.
You can blame it on the rain as long as you want to. You can look at me blank like you have nothing to say. Do you feel all the spirits as they close around you? You always let them get into your way. When you look at yourself staring in the mirror, is it making you sad to look so out of place? Doesn't feel better to hear we've all been there. It's a shame you don't recognize your own face. as they close around you. You always let them get into your way.
Spirits, recorded right here at PM Soundscape Studios. And one thing we didn't talk about in the first segment, as far as musicianship, guitar playing, who's like your touchstone? Who's your like, that's the guy or that's the girl? Who I don't want to say influence or hero or something, but like your touchstone, like that's
It's weird because it probably started out with like Van Halen and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But as it progressed, people started introducing me to bands like Tool and Pantera and things like that, and that'll change your perspective on everything.
Oh, hell
when you
yeah.
start, incorporating things like that.
Yeah.
And then I love Dream Theater, so you started getting into like John Petrucci and some of those guys. But then years ago, I injured my finger, so this one. I can still play with it, but it just doesn't bend on the end. So I was like, yeah, the Dream Theater riffs are done, but I can still write some complicated shit. I just have to do it at different patterns.
So is that so it's a ring finger on your left hand. So it's your fretting. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, I can still go. There's
Yeah.
no issues with that, but it's not the same as when you're doing trying to do like a 30-second run at a 120 tempo. It's like, it's not happening.
Yeah. Wow. I played guitar with a fellow. I'm actually going to do a podcast interview with him in 2 days. Played guitar with a fellow in the band. He had lost the middle finger on his left hand, his fretting hand.
Okay.
Same finger that Jerry Garcia lost on his right hand. But I said, this guy, I said, that's his fretting hand. Jerry lost his finger on his, on his strumming or picking hand.
Yeah.
I'll give the guy that loses this finger and can still play guitar. Guy's a phenomenal guitar player, but he lost this part of his finger. It's like, how did he? And he lost it after he learned how to play guitar. I mean, he was a proficient professional guitarist, then lost his finger. Holy geez. So, wow, incredible. And this is not a question I usually ask, but production-wise, who's like, that's the kind of production, that's the kind of a vibe or whatever that I would like to get. Or do you have one?
I don't think that I do. Because there's so many producers that I like their work and that I look up to. Yeah. But it's even like some of the pro guys. I love Andrew Sheps. If you're not familiar with his work.
I'm not. So
he's worked with everybody from Aerosmith to AC/DC to Adele, Jay-Z. I mean, the big names. He's mixed for, I don't think he does mastering. He's a mixing engineer.
Okay.
And, he does production and things like that. Chris Lord-Alge. Huge name. He's did Green Day, a couple of Green Day's albums, and the quality is just there. You can learn a lot from seeing him do stuff for 5 minutes. Yeah. But there's people like Jordan Valeriat has Hardcore Music Studio online, and he's maybe not as well known, but he's the $1,000 a mix guy that's going to take your very aggressive metal and make it sound like it's popping out of the speakers every step of the way.
Wow.
So there's just a lot of people that you learn from across the board on that.
Had you ever worked, and I think I already know the answer to this, have you ever worked with analog tape and all that in recording, or are you just a purely digital guy?
I'm purely a digital guy.
Okay, so you never had that experience of working with the analog stuff?
No, not with the tapes, I mean, it's not and I'm glad, because I'm glad I'm not back in the Black Album days, where if you ever saw the video of Metallica doing that, you still saw the guy splicing the tape together on some of the drum takes and stuff, and I'm just like, I respect it. Yeah. I get it, and there's a sound. There is a sound. But the thing of it is, now granted, you have all your emulations nowadays. So there's a console this emulation, console that, and I've got SSLs and all kinds of stuff over there. Yeah. But I run through now, which I didn't do before, I actually have it where Pro Tools runs out to, I have a vacuum tube preamp over there, and I run it back in on my mastering stuff now. And sometimes I'll do it on, say, the drums or certain tracks, and then actually... what I want to say, just like you bounce it down to this is it. It is a static track frozen with this sound. That's perfect. It's what we want. Because when you have hardware, you can't send like 47 different things to it and hope the hardware reacts the way you want individually on tracks.
Yeah.
So that's made a big difference in everything. And there's a compressor over there too, but I don't use that too often outside of software.
I think that, I mean, and help me out, because I'm really kind of separated from, a lot of the, the popular music now. I do know like T-Bone Burnett and, some of the other producers. But back when I was growing up in the 70s, there were the producers, man. There was George Martin, there was Bill Szymczyk, there who worked with the Who and the Eagles. There were like the producers.
Yeah.
Are those days gone, or are there like producers now that's like that's the guy's sound?
Oh, there's definitely guys still out there. Like I
Guys
said,
and gals,
Chris Lord-Alge and his brother Tom Lord-Alge. Those two, you go out to L.A. and everybody knows who they are.
Okay.
And if you're a musician and you're an original touring musician, and you look at who you want to work with, your dream is probably to work with them at some point.
Okay.
Now today in like modern, what I'd call modern hard rock / metal, Zach Cervini, I think his name is.
Okay.
He's working with bands like Bring Me the Horizon, Architects. He's got a sound.
Yeah.
Like there's a sound you get as a producer where there's rules to follow. There's not really rules. I should back that up before I even let my dumb mouth finish the sentence. There are rules you follow where the result is you want a great result.
Yeah.
That's always going to be the case.
Right.
How you get there's another story. So there's not a right and wrong path as long as the result's good. I don't care if somebody uses 37 plugins on a vocal bus to get a sound they were going for, or two. I don't care if they said, okay, we're going to use a little compressor and add some reverb. Done.
Yeah.
Compared to a guy who's running it through a vocoder and is making him sound like his voice is warbling and he's got a 16th note delay on it at the end. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If the result is in the end game,
Right.
that's what you got.
Yeah.
But you got to realize too, something that you have to understand too. And I think the studio's, it's an animal, man. It's an animal. And I say that for a couple of reasons. The first thing you got to do is you've got to get yourself to a level where you're confident enough to start working with people. So I've gotten there. It's taken quite some time. When you get past that point, there does come a point where you realize that I've got to establish a sound that I have as a producer,
Right.
as an engineer. People have to be able to hear something and be like, oh, he recorded it with Pat. Now, not necessarily right off the bat. It's not the same as hearing a singer sing.
Right.
But there's going to be some kind of semblance to that.
Yes.
But you got to respect the artist too.
Right.
So the difference is, how do I do my best work and maintain bringing the best out of the artist so we're both like, wow, at the end of it? That's the hard part, I think, is about.
So you approach it, it's like, this isn't about me. Because you're providing, correct me if I'm wrong, you're providing a service to the band, to the artist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's not about,
And there are things you mix in. Like, if you listen to Kitchen Teeth's first album, Sink Your, oh, geez, that's the second one coming out.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. Sink Your Teeth In is going to be the second one that we're working on currently.
Yeah.
The
Save Our
first
Sanity
album,
is
the
their
Save
first
Our
one.
Sanity, yes. If you listen to that, there's a lot of things I did in the studio aspect of things. So we'd track all the tracks here. And maybe I'd start mixing to get a rough mix. And then I'd be like, all right, I'll send it to you. And it'd be a day or two, depending on what was going on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, 3 a.m. They're not awake, but I'm sending them like, hey, wake up to this, And it'd be like, wow, I love what you did here. So there's times I take his vocal and I'll move it to another track and I'll put a delay on it or put an effect on it so you get like an echo and different things bouncing around and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
When you're mixing, I don't know that a lot of people do or don't know this. Mixing is different because it's not just moving the faders and doing the EQ the right way.
Yeah.
There are little touches you're doing, like editing and making other things happen and retiming some of the drums and, making sure that if something's on the first beat of a measure, it's hitting and it's on the 3 and, you got your snare and everything clicking. But there's also the little touches that you do sometimes where it's like, well, I'm going to add this flanger on here. It's about adding an effect to create something where a band will be like, the band still has the final say.
Right.
But maybe you bring something out of the song that they never expected.
Right.
That they're like, wow, that's
and as
it right
and
there.
as a musician and as a member of a band, I like that, because that happened with our EP that we did. It sent us a mix, and he put this echo in on the vocal. I'm like, dang, I wouldn't have thought of that, and I liked it. So you know. But I think you have to be comfortable enough with the person you're working, reciprocal. You have to be comfortable enough with the band that you're producing, but the band has to be comfortable enough with you
Yes.
to be able to do that.
And to be able to tell you when they don't like something.
Yes.
It has to be an open road, and you have to not take it personal.
Right.
But you have to take it.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it's not the issue.
Part of being a producer, do you look at yourself as a producer? Do you look at yourself as an engineer? Do you look at yourself as a audio craft? How do you define yourself within this rubric here?
There's different roles.
Okay.
And you have to treat them that way in your own head. So, I mean, I look at it like you can record here. That's just a bottom line catch-all kind of thing.
Okay.
If you have song ideas and you want to come in and like work with me and rehash the ideas and stuff, that's probably not where we're at. As a producer, when I say...
In other words, coming in here to write or
Yeah.
to arrange the song.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
Because I don't charge by the hour. So therefore, let's not do that. So when you have a song that you want to record,
Yeah.
at least know your main tracks. If we want to add stuff, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Have your foundation, and then we can build it together.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to charge you hourly. No, I don't like that.
Well, we wondered because you charge a flat rate.
Yes.
We wondered about that. It's like, well, shit. What if we take 6 months to do this? What if we take 6 months to do one song? You know,
That I'm not doing my job and keeping you focused enough.
interesting.
That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
Like well, right now we're doing the album for Fleeger. Okay,
Yeah.
their new album.
Yeah.
And it's like we just started it a couple months ago. And we're at the point where I want to say Ron's vocals are 90% of the way done on this album, if not
Wow.
completely done. His the guitars, the Eddie acoustic guitar is pretty much done on the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
The drums are done on 7 of the 11 songs. The bass is done on 4 of the songs. Sarah's background vocals are done on a couple of the songs. We're going to start adding her keyboards and her other vocals in the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We're farther along than a lot of people would understand.
Yeah.
In a short time. And with Ron, though, shout out to Ron. I love you and Sarah. Listen. So he comes in and he's a guy, he will never sit there and be like, oh, that's good. No. He has ideas. So he's going to be like, well, this
Yeah.
time let's go ahead and we got together the other day and he came in and we went back to 3 songs we already did because there's something he heard and something he added, or there was something that we said was out of tune. We'll fix that, of course.
Right.
But we go back and it's like, we're going to make it better. And then we got stupid with some of the sounds we decided to try on some
Yeah.
of the guitars and things we added in. And we were laughing our asses off the other day because I'm like, well, what if we add this in? And I took his vocal, moved it back, reversed it, and sampled it and added like 7 effects on it. So it sounds like he's falling into a cavern, but it's getting louder and you're in the bottom of the cavern as he's falling and you're, and then his vocal starts.
Oh,
We're
funny.
not going to use
Yeah.
it, but it was.
Oh, so you reversed it like the old,
Yeah.
like reversing the tape.
Oh, yeah. You can do a lot in Audio Suite and Pro
it's-
Tools.
That's the one thing. I want to get back to the question though. So what do you see your role as in this studio?
Okay, so no matter what, I have to be the person that exceeds your expectations. Now, I don't know that can have a title. When it comes to producer, okay, I produced Kitchen T's first album.
Okay.
Now, what I mean by that is when you're a recording engineer, you're the guy who tracks all the stuff. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. When you're a mixing engineer, you're mixing it and maybe doing little edits.
Yeah.
And then there's the mastering engineer who maybe a different set of ears. I've worked with a couple of them around the world that have just been like really good. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Nate up at Vault Mastering in New York. The guy's amazing. I only got to work with one track on him, but he mastered for 21 Pilots. He's mastered for Stained. He mastered the 21 Pilots that went triple platinum.
Oh, wow.
He's the guy. Yeah, vaultmastering.com. Great dude. Expensive, worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so when it comes to the production, you said about producer.
Yeah.
I want to answer that real quick. When it comes to a producer, you have to sit there, listen to a song, and be able to look at the artist and say, no, don't do that. It's taken away from everything you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Now, the artist still has the final say.
Right.
But you have to understand that we have a goal that this is going to be the best thing you ever put out.
Yeah.
That's what matters. And we got to be on that same page the whole time.
Yeah.
We've had songs we worked on like, hey, you can't, let's not keep doing this. Like Kitchen Teeth, we have one of them, one of the songs in the new album. There was something that was it happened a lot. It made sense as far as the theme went. But I was like, no, get rid of that. Let's add a solo here because it makes so much more sense and it doesn't drag on for the listener. We did it. At the end of the day, we loved it. So it's a matter of, there are those roles, but you have to be, it's weird because it's like if I had a title, I'd hope that it'd be like, that's the dude I want to work with.
Yeah.
It's really that simplistically dumb.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, whatever title somebody wants to give me, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it has to work.
You have to be, I think I mentioned this earlier, but you have to be like you have to be a people person to do this job.
Yeah.
Working, and especially when you're working with artists.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be able to read people, I assume.
To some extent,
people. Oh, I mean, there's some people I would think that you have to approach with constructive criticism, or I'm not really sure I like that. You have to approach them differently, and that's part of your job too.
Well, you kind of have to, in a way, you have to kind of set that tone when you go into the situation too, though.
Yeah.
So, if you've really set the expectation of, I am here to help you put something out that you're proud of.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm going to slap it in my portfolio because I did the work on it and I want to use it as a reference.
Heck yeah.
If that's the case, I'm not going to put my name on something that I don't like.
Right.
You shouldn't either. This is yours.
Yeah.
So I think that's more the bigger picture.
Yeah. So, I mean, not only are you kind of marshaling all this, you're a collaborator as well.
Yes.
I mean, really quick, do you enjoy doing, and I think I know the answer to this question, do you enjoy doing the production more than you do the performing?
Yes.
I thought so.
At this point, yes.
Yeah.
But I can't think of the last time I had a bad show.
Yeah.
So I'll be fair and say that it's always, your heart still has to be into it when you're performing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the production, hands down.
So, and the other thing that because my paradigm on production and recording music is the old, you have the recording room, and then you have, separated by a big wall with a big piece of glass, the board and the mixing area where the engineer sits. And that's my paradigm. When I walked into my first recording studio where we as a band went into record stuff seriously, it was a desk in an open room, and everything was plugged into the computer. So that was like a whole different concept to me. Mm-hmm. So it's all the whole digital thing, we were talking about.
Yeah, of course.
The cool thing about that is you can collaborate, and I think you kind of touched on this a little bit. You collaborate with somebody that's not even in the city with you.
Yeah.
You said you would work with somebody in Florida, and they were sending you stuff. Go ahead.
Joe Damrich, he's somebody I met through one of the websites I did some freelance work on. Yeah. And it was a matter of he worked with somebody a little bit off of there, and then he worked with me on one song, and he's like, wow. He's like, the difference is night and day. You're my guy. So, but you hear somebody's stuff.
And this guy's not in the area.
No, Joe's from Mobile, Alabama. He's a lawyer down there, and
60-mile coastline down there.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just a really good guy. We've become really, really good friends over time here. But we've done probably a good 12 to 14 songs together, I would say, working on an album currently. He has some new stuff coming out here shortly. Mm-hmm. And he sends me stuff. He sends me certain tracks. If there's a certain part that needs a solo, he's like, I'm not a solo player, man, so I need you to do this one for me. And we'll add some stuff and things like that. And I mean, I've worked with Hazleton, like a buddy of mine, Tony Diaz, lives up there, and he's a Christian artist, and he lives up there, so he records his tracks. He sends it. He's never recorded here. He sends everything through email, through WeTransfer, and I load it into the session and do drums and add in, all over.
It's
cool.
Incredible how the technology is set, with email, with Zoom, with, and then, just all the digital, how you can do that. I mean, you could do it back in the old days where you'd have to take the 3-inch tape and lug it across the country or across town to do that. But, now it's just all electrons and that. So
as long as somebody can get a good source track.
Yeah.
Don't make me fix it in the mix all the time. I can do that to an extent, but let's get your sound right first. That's important.
So Strong and Weak is a song that is one of those long distance collaborations with Joe Damrich.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we play that now just to kind of give folks the idea of these guys weren't even in the same room in the same state together, and they produced something like this.
Yeah. Joe's a songwriter that writes with a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And I hear it in everything he does. And luckily he looks at me as like I'm his guy. And it's an honor when somebody looks at you that way because you've produced something that's made them feel like. He called me after I sent him the song, and I answered the phone and I said, "What's up, man?" And it was silent for 5 seconds. Uh-oh. And he started laughing so hard. I knew it was like he was shocked.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, we found what we wanted to do with your stuff after a couple songs. Now we know where we're at.
Good for you.
So it was really cool. Great for him, though, too.
Yeah. Strong and Weak from Joe Damrich. It was recorded It's recorded in 2 different states, but the majority of the work, the heavy lifting, was done by Patrick Motto up here at PM Soundscape Studios. So let's listen to this right now on the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast.
I can barely find the answer to what you mean to me. A lonely man who died of cancer found out one is less than 3. Better or worse, rich or poor, lying on the bedroom floor. Mercy me, glory be, God sent you to marry me. And you're strong, I'm weak, it's hard on me. And your heart don't beat unless I breathe. What's wrong tonight? Don't look inside, and what light can test behind a hand? Take the time out to remember the things we used to say. Going back to last September, a perfect New Year's Day. Needed more, wanted less, broke the mold from all the rest. Step by step, brick by brick, watch the clock go talk and tick. You're strong, I'm weak, it's hard on me. And your heart don't beat unless I breathe. And what's wrong tonight? Don't look inside, and what light can test behind the hand? And every moment, every hour, every single day, I lie awake and dream about how I don't wanna pray. The sand is falling from the hourglass until the end. You are my angel, goddess, beauty, queen, and honest friend. You're strong, I'm weak, it's hard on me. And your heart don't beat unless I breathe. What's wrong tonight? Don't look inside, and what light can test behind a hand?
Strong and Weak, Joe Damrich from down in Alabama on that 60-mile coastline in Mobile. We're going to wrap things up kind of quick. And this has been fun because my expectation of you, with not knowing a whole lot about you, is that, you started and you were like, high school bands and bands and bands and bands, and then got into this maybe 5 years ago. I am impressed that you've exceeded my expectation in that you've really kind of dedicated yourself to the whole production thing, over the last almost 15 years?
In a
More?
way, yeah.
Yeah. I
if
mean,
you look at
that's
it that way, yeah.
Yeah. And the stuff, as I said, the stuff that I have heard from you is really good. I'm going to be interested to see how you work with a reggae / jam band / quasi folk band. I'm really going to be interested to see how you work with those guys.
It's funny you mentioned that because I'm actually producing a track right now for an artist I've done work for before in New York, a guy named Christopher Hetty. And it is a reggae / Jamaican ska track.
Oh,
100%.
sweet.
Yeah. There's and he even, I want to say I was going to add the Viber Slap, but I didn't.
Oh, gosh,
But we
no,
did
yeah.
add that to one of Ron Flieger's songs of Monday. We
Oh,
did.
dear Lord.
And he's like, yeah, we need that. Next thing you got, I'm like, are you sure? And we're laughing and adding it. But yeah, it's actually, it's congas. It's found the right tone for the guitar. It's awesome.
That's
it's
fun.
killer.
Now, do you do any on-site recording? In other words, will you go out to a venue and record somebody
Yeah.
like live?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I would do that. I don't think that I could do it before the way I wanted to. Now, of course, you'd be coming out of the mixing board. If the mixing board is right, you're pretty much going to have a good sound.
Sure.
But set up a couple condensers and capture some room to mix in with it too. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would do that. Like the interface I got now, I just got a Scarlett 18i20. And so you've got like 8 inputs and 10 outputs and all that. So it's a lot different than using my normal,
So
little Mackie.
let's geek out for a minute. What are you using now? Are you using Pro Tools? Because that's
Yes.
immediately what I think of.
I've got Pro Tools,
Okay.
and that's what I specialize in.
Okay.
Now I've touched base with Persona Studio One.
Okay.
I have it full version, and I'm scared of it, man. I'm scared of it because I've seen people use it, and I think it's easier to use in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
But I know how to do all this stuff, and I'm like, man, do I want to learn to do the easy way? It's the dumbest question I ever asked myself. Do I want to learn to do it the easy way? Yes, but yeah, I'm Pro Tools.
Okay.
At this point, all the way.
I mean, I think is that considered the industry standard
I think it is.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, if you see like CLA working with it, it's Pro Tools. If you see somebody like I mentioned Jordan Valeriat, he's in Pro Tools.
Okay.
But you see plenty of them using Steinberg has something out called, I think it's called Innuendo.
Oh wow.
And that's really high end.
Yeah.
And I see some studios working with that now. And so I had a studio that we were working with a mutual client. They were recording the vocals up in New York. And I was like, what DAW are you using? A digital audio workstation. He's like, Innuendo. I was like, the hell is that? And I had to look it up. He never told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple questions we ask with every podcast. Is there a piece of equipment, and it could be a recording equipment, I don't know. Is there a piece of equipment, a guitar, an amp, a piece of recording equipment that you got rid of that you want to get back?
There was a Jackson Kelly guitar that I sold a couple years ago that was signed by Dave Mustaine and Dave Ellison from Megadeth. And I sold it.
Dude.
And I didn't sell it for a ton. It was just necessity at the time.
Sure.
And it'd be cool to have that back, but I generally don't miss guitars, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. I kept the Jackson V.
Yeah.
I've got a 7-string BC Rich version that I bought like 20 years ago that I still have. And my wife got me a Silvertone acoustic electric that I love.
Yeah.
I ended up picking up an Ibanez Tallman acoustic that I do all my shows with. Yeah. I like everything I have. There's nothing that pops in my head that says, man, I wish I still had
Wow,
that.
lucky you.
Yeah.
Lucky you. Your I think you touched on it, your current guitar, your current rig playing out.
Bose Pro 8 L1 PA.
wow.
So it's a column PA, sounds really good.
Can't go wrong with those.
I use a Boss VE20 vocal pedal for some delay reverb on it.
Okay.
One setting, I don't mess with it. It's just set and go.
Yeah.
Mute it when I'm talking. Use the Ibanez Tallman. I run that through a Zoom. It's a loop. It's an effects pedal, but I use it for loop.
Yeah.
I keep it clean. Yeah. So I can loop a certain part, and then once I have it looped like the rhythm, I can play the solos. Like Nutshell by Alice in Chains is a great example. Mm-hmm. It never changes. Outside of 8 bars, it stays the same the whole way.
Yeah.
But I can solo the hell out of it. So it's kind of cool to be able to have that added on.
Okay. So pretty simple setup then.
Yeah. Well, until I involve... Most acoustic guys don't do this, I think, but I set up a gig bar, and then I have Chauvet DJ. I have 3 laser lights that I activate. I have LED fog machines from them that I'm using now, and I have 3 other LED things that go on too. So yeah, I went crazy Saturday night at my show. It looked awesome. You see the lasers coming at you, and it looks like there's fire going up, and I'm doing acoustic stuff like Matchbox 20.
Oh, I gotta see
people
that.
are like, "Wow, this is interesting."
I've got to catch you sometime.
I'm going to do it Friday. I know I am.
Funny.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
Real quick.
Yeah.
The truth is, I always want to meet new artists. It's hard because I think the easiest way to connect with other people that you want to do recording work with is to go out and see them play and make yourself known.
Yeah.
But I play all the time, and it makes it hard to get out and see other artists. So just know that there's never a time you can't reach out. There's never a time you can't touch base. And, if you work with me or not, you got free will. I don't control that.
Yeah.
I just hope that everybody gets to make the music that they like. They're happy with it. They feel like they're taken care of, and everybody can move forward in this local scene the best way that we can.
Yeah.
Without any, there's always competition because we're all going for the same gig. Any way you look at it.
There is, but I think one of the things in
respectful.
this area is for the most part, we're all respectful of each other and we're all willing to help each other out if and when you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of my takeaway from this area. And there's a couple outliers, of course, but for the most part, everybody kind of gets along and we all kind of support each other. So
I agree. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I mean, I'm looking forward to putting out, on the musical side of thing, I'm looking forward to putting out another album. I'm actually thinking of,
Yeah, what do you got coming up next? So that's
what I was thinking of doing real quick is I was thinking of taking the album that I just released and taking all the electric guitars out of it, re-recording acoustic guitars, or using them as backing tracks and playing the album live. So I can at least do it because I'm not going to form a band. I'm not going to form a band.
No bands in the future
No,
for you.
the ideas come up, but then it's somebody else has to learn everything, and it's harder, more hours where I'm taken away from the production aspect.
And you have the
of things.
technology now, or we have the, but you have the technology, especially with your know-how to do that.
Just to set it up. It'd be nice to play it live,
Oh, cool.
just once.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, twice. It'd be cool to do that. I got some shows coming up here in the next few weeks and started booking pretty good for 2025.
Good.
We're going to finish Flieger's album early next year.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that because it's sounding awesome. And man, he's so eccentric. His
Oh my
writing
gosh.
style is all over. There's a song I listened to the other day. I'm like, this is pirate metal. This is pirate metal. I don't care. And it is. There's no joke. He does the best I've ever heard in the studio.
Oh, I can imagine.
Ever in another song. It's just amazing. Kitchen Teeth's new album is sounding awesome. I'm really looking forward.
You get some eccentric artists in here.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And they're all just good people, man. All just good
They
people.
are great.
I know Joe and I are going to continue to work together. He's got one coming out. Jose Ortiz, the guy I mentioned before.
From Florida.
He's, like I said, we're working on his new album currently. And that's coming together really well. And there's some other people I've looked at working with.
Okay.
Maybe some guy that's doing a podcast right now. I know he's busy. But I was looking at working with him and his singer. And there's just, I'm just looking forward to whatever comes next, man, because it's a roller coaster in a good way.
Yeah. People want to reach out to you. How do they get hold of you?
Best way to do it is probably you can message me through the website, Facebook. I have a studio page and also my personal artist page, whatever, Patrick Motto. Can I plug the number?
Yeah,
email?
go. Yeah, do
phone
what
number
you want, man.
570-951-9594. Text me because I probably won't answer the number that I don't recognize because I'm not buying your car insurance and I don't need a loan. And other than that, patmotto73@gmail.com. If anybody's looking at, like I do a lot of booking still, so for the shows this year coming up, it's patrick-motto.com for my EPK for the artist side of things. Mm-hmm. And again, for the studio, pmsoundscapestudios.com. And that's kind of every way you're going to get a hold of
All
me.
right. And we will link all of these on our description of this podcast with Patrick Motto. We're going to close things out with Russ Steele, another song that you recorded. He's from Baltimore, you said?
Yeah, Russ Steele's he's a huge Steely Dan fan, so very classic rock oriented kind of thing.
Right.
And he's somebody I just met through whatever website, Lord knows.
Yeah.
And he sent me some tracks. We really pushed the things to really get the best out of him. He second guesses himself all the time, which I complain to him for. And I told him, hey, we just got to get you accepting a song that's going to be good. So I mixed and mastered this song. He did all the recording and sent me the tracks, retracked what I told him to, and then we got a good result for a nice classic rock vibe out of it.
Good.
And give him credit. He's 74 and he still sings like this. It's insane.
He's 74.
It's insane. It makes no sense.
Wow. Patrick, I gotta call you Pat. Pat, thanks for having me out here. This has been a blast, and I'm so glad I got to know you. We have great artists in this area. We have great songwriters. We have great bands, but we also, and I highlight this a lot of times on the radio show, we have world-class recording studios in this area, and PM Soundscapes is one of them. Thanks for having us down here, Pat.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Mike.
All righty. We're going to close things out with Russ Steele. Like Steely Dan, he's good with me. Live, Laugh, Love, long-distance collaboration between Patrick Motto and Russ Steele. Closing things out on this episode of the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast.
Live, laugh, love.
a little long-distance collaboration between Russ Steele down in Baltimore and Patrick Motto up here in Danville, PM Soundscape Studios. It was so great to sit down with Patrick in his studio and get to know him, kind of get the inside scoop on his life story and how he goes about not only writing songs but also producing some of the really great stuff that's going on here in the Central Susquehanna Valley. So thanks, Patrick. You can check out PM Soundscape Studios at Patrick's music on Facebook, Instagram, and the PM Soundscape Studios, and we'll link each of those to our paragraph here for the Rec Room Radio Hour podcast. Hey, the interview was recorded down at PM Soundscape Studios and mixed and edited here at Airline Studios with my pal Roxy right beside me. Thanks to the Clark McLean Band for their song Theme, and we'll see you each week on the Rec Room Radio Hour radio show. Hey, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, don't fret. Stay tuned and play nice until we meet again. Bye-bye.